Hello plant parents, I am back today again with the favorite episodes on My Plant My Baby. And today I'll talk about the plant care guide of one of the most trendiest things on Instagram, the succulents. But before I talk about succulents and our plant care episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel My Plant My Baby and hit the bell button so that we keep giving you updates on the plant care and A to Z of gardening so that you grow healthier, bushier and greener babies. चलिए आज बात करते हैं हमारे plant care tips on our favorite and as I said trendiest plants of succulents. Before I talk about the care and the 4 important things which I talk about, let me give quickly कि यार ये succulents you should know comes from the arid or a desert regions basically. They are devoid of resources and that's why it becomes one of the low maintenance things in the world. But अगर हम उसके nature के against जाते हैं and we give more water or more feed, they get destroyed or get fungal activity because they're not used to having such extreme or high levels of nutrition and resources. So always make sure that you give less of everything to them. And I've talked more about the types of succulents and where are they available across in my different Plantopedia section, which is just given above in the suggestions on the Plantopedia of succulents. You can watch that. But if you are looking at for the care perspective, let's start and talk about the best and the most important aspect of it is, which is water. Pani, most important होना चाहिए. Always make sure जब भी you're giving water, the TDS level should be 0. Always give RO water to them where the TDS is 0. They don't require much water. So, and even if you have 50-60 succulents, make sure that you give the RO water. We are growing more than 1 million plus right now succulents at our facility, and we use commercial RO systems also to give water. Reason being, if the TDS is high, they interact with the feeding and you see a lot of reactions coming in succulents. So always make sure that whenever you're giving water, the TDS should be 0. The second and the most important thing which you should look out for the watering is give less water to succulents, but give complete. कई बार क्या होता है हम ऊपर से हल्का सा स्प्रे दे देते हैं because some people have told you that you need less water. It doesn't need less water. It needs full water. Always water and see that it trickles down from the base. Always use pots which has lot of porosity and holes in the below things. Otherwise water will clot. What we only have to see is that water never clots at the root level. Otherwise it will get destroyed. So that's why what you have to do is give water, good watering so that it trickles down. If you don't have a porous one, always be cautious when you are watering it. But pani roots tak jana chahiye always. But the second important part is that the next watering should always happen when the roots media has dried. मतलब कि ये region जहाँ पे roots formation है basically, वो region जब तक dry ना हो, don't again water it. And that's one of the biggest mistakes people do on plant care, especially on succulents, जिसकी वजह से most of the succulents die. And if you are able to control them, all the other factors are still manageable, but watering if we do wrong, you're bound to destroy or damage your plant or kill your plant. And that has happened not in commercial levels, but even when home gardeners do it, this is the mistakes they do. So watering becomes a very important element. Second most important element along with water is the placement. So when I talk about placement, I talk about 2 aspects to it. One is how much of temperature is there along with the humidity, and second, how much is the light into it. So when I say talk about the light, always make sure that it requires bright sunlight around it, or bright light primarily. Bright light, it should be at 1000 to 2000 levels, which means ये indoor plant नहीं है. Don't keep it at indoors in the washrooms and stuff. This requires bright sunlight. So your windowsills, your balconies, your windows or your entrances where there is a light coming in, they are good areas where the bright light comes in. But always avoid direct sunlight because it doesn't like direct. You will have scorching or tip burns happening, especially in echeverias and petcheverias. This might happen. So from the placement perspective, always make sure that they are kept at a place where you get bright light but indirect of it. And the other aspect of it, which is temperature, it doesn't like again the extremes. Winter it can still take it, but heat with humidity is a pure killer for Echeverias and most of the succulents around. But Sansevierias जैसे हैं वो फिर भी चल जाते हैं. But if you have Haworthias or if you have Echeverias, extreme temperatures, especially hot climates with high humidity, kills the plant. And that's why a lot of people see that in Bombay or coastal regions, their plants and their succulents don't survive because the humidity is high. And as soon as the summer touch and it goes 30, 35 and then sometimes 40 and you overwater it, it kills straight out. So this is always to be managed, that keep thumb rule in your mind कि पानी कम देना है, तभी देना है जब वो ड्राई हो जाए. प्लेसमेंट ऐसी जगह रखना है जहाँ पे आपके पास 1000 to 2000 लक्स आता है. ऐसी जगह रखें जहाँ पे टेम्परेचर एक्सट्रीम पे नहीं जाता है एंड द ह्यूमिडिटी इज़ नॉट वेरी हाई. सो ड्राई रीजन्स गुड इट इज़, इट डजंट लाइक हाई ह्यूमिडिटी रीजन्स अराउंड. नाउ कम्स अराउंड द एस्पेक्ट्स ऑन द feeding part of it. Now there is a misnomer and lot of people try and confuse that it requires a lot of feeding, etc. It's actually against it, against the nature of succulents. So succulents and cacti are born in arid regions. They are devoid of resources. You don't have to give them a lot of food. They know by nature how to extract food from the existing resource. And that's why they are made such. They're dormant. They don't grow very strong. One leaf takes almost 1.5 to 2 months to come, which is against Scindapsus, which brings 5 to 6 leaves also in a month sometimes. So always make sure that even if you're feeding it and you want to feed it, don't give a nitrogen high feeding. Give a potash and biostimulants, which sort of keeps the immunity strong for the plant, a liquid fertilizer. Slow releasers, जैसे मैं कहता हूँ, is available. Can put slow releasers, but very little. If you don't, it's actually better. They will survive without it also. Unless it's been almost a year in this small pot and you haven't fed it anything, you should put few balls on the fertilizers of slow releasers, which are good enough. They will give slowly. They won't give a lot of nitrogen into it. And that's what around the feed part of it. And the fourth important and the last aspect in the plant care which you have to look out is the media. Now a lot of people buy it from a local nurseries and they use the soil-based media. Never buy succulents in a soil-based media. Biggest reason being that it has a functionality of clotting the water, which is anti survival for the succulents. They don't need clotting or they don't need water in it. It should be porous. It should just move out or drain out if there is excess of water. And that's why porous media is always needed. Usually all the good nurseries in the world, and especially now in India, use coco peat or cocoa chips or perlite in it. So any of these media mix they have been using, they have sort of obviously known about it and have done it for years. So always whenever you're using that, always make sure that your succulents are in the porous media. And if that is, your plants will always be very healthy and growing really big enough. If you follow all these 4 important aspects of it, 99% of the time your succulents will thrive. In case after following this it's not thriving also, I'm there to help you guys. I'm just a message away, or DM us on our Nurturing Green Instagram channel or on the YouTube comments below, and we will love to give you the feedback of what's not working for your plant babies on succulents. So that's from our side on My Plant My Babies plant care. In case you want to watch more videos on plant care, do just subscribe to the My Plant My Baby channel or look at the playlist of My Plant on plant care, so that you get different cares on different plants which we talk about. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.